as your training as an astronaut, you know, you're prepared to make it okay, fix the situation in situations that none of us can imagine. So, how was your astronaut training coming into play in those hours between the first call from Pia and when you got to her? Did you have a whole plan in place in your mind, or?
This, in a very odd way, this feels a lot like a space shuttle mission for me. A lot of decisions, long days, a lot of you know, chaos all at once. You know, things that aren't working right and going right, and you have to fix, and teams of people you have to talk to. You know, somewhat stressful, risky, not for me, but for Gabby. So I think in a way it's been helpful that I can just kind of go into that mode of just being focused, so I don't have to think about, you know, the other stuff.
About 5 more minutes.
What was your first date?
So our first date was, well, we met on a trip to China, and then a year later they had the same organization at a trip, and it was here in Arizona, because she wanted 20 of these Chinese people and the 20 other Americans in the group to see Arizona. So she made sure that the next trip, I mean, it was so important to her that they see Arizona. So there was a trip to Arizona. So I remember talking about during that second trip that she had, I don't know, in a month or two, she was going to visit the Florence State Prison, to visit death row, because she was working on legislation that had, you know, an impact on, you know, she had to make decisions about that. So she couldn't find anybody to go with her. And I remember her talking about that. I'm like, wow, I wouldn't mind doing that. I'll go with you. So that was our first date. Florence State Prison. Isn't it?
Phil, did you have anything?
Every day there's something new that she's doing. What was new today?
I'd say today, you know, she's awake more. So, but I've been in here for the last 2 hours. You know, and for part of that, they gave her another CAT scan today, so she disappeared for a while, and it's been kind of hectic.
You say that she recognizes that you were there and her mother's there. Do you feel like you're communicating with her in a meaningful way?
I think so. Yeah. Yep. I mean, she's looking right at. I mean, she's looking right in my eyes. She knows it's me. I have no doubt. No doubt about that. So.
When she goes back to Congress, and we'll use that she's going to go back to Congress, and she goes down into the chamber, what do you think the reaction would be there?
Well, cheers.
I imagine.
No, I didn't ask
I hope so.
him. I asked him.
I would hope so. I would think so. Yeah, I would think there'd be. I think they'll be very happy to see her. She's got a lot of very good friends there. They love her. I mean, I'll tell you what. I was at after the memorial service. I was walking to the police car. The president was still inside. It was just myself and the Tucson police officer. And somebody I hadn't met stopped me. He says, "Hey, I have to show you a picture." So he gets out his iPhone. "I got to show you this." So I'm stopped. I'm trying to get back to the hospital. "No, I really have to show you this." And he goes to this picture of Gabby, him, and his wife in the rotunda with all the statues. And he says, "You know, she spent 45 minutes with me that day." And he said, "You know, members of my own delegation didn't spend half that time with me, not a single one." And she spent 45 minutes talking to him and his wife. It was his first day as a member of Congress, showing him around, pointing out the different statues in the rotunda, telling him how this all works. And this was, you know, one of the Republican freshman members from Arizona. And he said, you know, he didn't get that kind of treatment from anybody in his own delegation or his own caucus, but she gave him that time, and that's the kind of person she is. You know?
Has anything in your military career been more nerve-wracking than the last week?
So I flew 38 combat missions in Operation Desert Storm, or 39, something like that. That's pretty nerve-wracking. You know, getting repeatedly, you know, night after night, having people shoot at you. So that's a little stressful, but this is way up there, I'll tell you. It's been a tough, how many days? 9, 10 days? Very stressful, very up and down emotionally. Got a lot of great help from Pia and Rod and Gabby's staff. Police department. I mean, these guys have been volunteering in the ICU. They're not getting paid. There's 4 of them in there 24 hours a day, 4 to 6 of them. I mean, not a single one of them have been paid, and they had to shorten the amount of duty that they were serving because they had so many volunteers that wanted to be there. So I had to cut down the amount of time that any individual could be there, standing watch, to make sure she's okay. That's the Tucson Police Department.
Some people say that it is best if there's a trauma like this, that if you lose a friend that you're supposed to, has she been told about the staff?
No.
No, she has
Not at all. She, you know, I've told her that she's where she is, and she certainly recognizes she's had a serious injury, but she doesn't know what that is.
She doesn't even know what happened, how it happened.
Well, there's always the chance that she might remember what happened,
yeah.
but she hasn't been told what happened. Now, the neurosurgeon says she most likely does not remember what happened.
Everybody likes astronauts, wants to grow up to be one. Not everybody wants to grow up to be a congresswoman. Do you
Christina
think,
Green did.
Yeah, there you go. But do you think we need to change the image we have of our public servants in this country?
It's interesting, right? So Congress always has that low approval rating,
Mm-hmm.
but most individual members of Congress are somewhat loved by the people that elected them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just the nature of the way things are. I mean, I look up to, you know, our public officials. I mean, it's a hard job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she works almost every minute she is awake. I mean, we've got to fit in time, right? Mark time. Right, it goes, we have a conference call, and it has to get fit into the schedule. I can't remember what color it is on the schedule. It's got a color.
Purple.
It's purple.
Purple?
You know, so we weave that in, but, I mean, she basically works from the second she wakes up to the second she goes to sleep. I think she probably takes each month maybe 1 day off, where she'll try to relax for a day, once a month. That's 12 days a year.
Have there been any expressions of support in the community that you found especially meaningful?
The lunch money. You know, and I've walked around at the memorial service. I grabbed one of the memorial outside. I grabbed one of the teddy bears, brought it up to her room.
Can you walk around without people grabbing you?
At night I can,
Okay.
not in the daytime. I tried it in the daytime. It's not a good idea.
What was that experience
stuck.
like? It's very moving to be there at night with all those
It
candles.
is, with the candles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How would you describe your experience there?
You know, it depends on the day I've gone out there. Somewhat hopeful at times, or sad. Spiritual when you show up in the morning and there's this young woman with a drum, just boom, and nobody else is out there, and she's been doing this every morning, like before sunrise, and she stays there. She sits on the grass. I talked to her the other day for a little bit. And she says there's this personal vigil by herself.
Hmm.
Shows up before anybody else could be there, except for me when I came in real early and then just heard this very, very faint drumming sound. And I just see her sitting out there in the grass.
Last question.
Does Gabby have a catchphrase for when the going gets tough? Does she have something that she always says when it's a hard day or something sucks or something's really hard? Does she have like the essential Gabby catchphrase for "I will prevail"?
This is a job. When
Yeah, she does says that a lot. I'd have to think about it. Can I get back to you? I don't know. It might be something. I'll think about it. All right, thank you.
Mark, thank you very much for your time.